Okay, so you guys, you have to know this for your test, the end, the end, the end. This is high miss question because people do not like to commit this to memory. So there are stages of labor. There are 4 stages. The first stage is when your cervix dilates, okay? The first stage is dilation of your cervix, okay? So in the first stage, there are 3 phases. There are 3 phases of the first stage. You guys see that? So the first stage is when your cervix dilates, but the 3 phases of the first stage are early or latent, is when you're 0 to 3 centimeters. This is the longest time frame. Then active, 4 to 7 centimeters, and this is usually when, I was about to say he or she. This is usually when she wants her epidural, okay, in active labor. And then you guys, transition is the last part when you're 8 to 10 centimeters, and this is significant because this only lasts about an hour. This only lasts about an hour from 8 to 10 centimeters, okay? We say once you hit 5 centimeters, you're about a centimeter an hour, okay? Now the second stage is after you've dilated and you're pushing the baby out, okay? So from the moment you start pushing until what? Until the baby is out, all the way out. That's the second stage. Then the third stage is delivery of the placenta. The placenta should come out after 20 minutes, within the 20-minute time frame. So you guys, let me just draw a picture. Okay, so here is your uterus. Make sure you can see this, Daria. Well, here's your uterus. Has this big baby in here. Okay, that's a baby. All right, and so here's the placenta. Now, remember, there's tons of blood flow here, right, you guys? These are blown completely open, going to the gap, right, the intravillous gap, and pushing over water, oxygen and nutrients, okay? So truly, what your whole uterus looks like is high pressure, just pushing oxygen to your uterus, like this, but especially right here. Okay, so now this baby comes out, right? So now the baby's out. So now we have the placenta. Okay, this is high pressure pushing here, and now this thing is starting to contract off. So now they're starting to become bleeding right there. So the longer this placenta stays in, the more bleeding she will have. The longer this placenta stays in, the more bleeding she will have. Okay, now all of it comes off except for this one little tiny piece. So we delivered the placenta, but she had a little retained fragment, okay? Because, so remember this placenta? So here's the placenta. Okay, and these are all vessels, right? And then here's the smoker or the cocaine user, right? What are these? Calcifications. So dudes, these are like perforations. Like when you, in a magazine, like you tear out a coupon, these are perforations. So when this thing comes out, they perf around those calcifications. Do you guys see that? So you could have this little retained piece of placenta. Guess what your body still thinks? You're what? Pregnant. This thing secretes estrogen, so this doesn't want to what? No. Contract down, because what we really want to happen is we want this thing to contract down, and we want all these arterioles like this to what? Close, because the actual physical compression of the contraction. Do you guys see that? So when it contracts down, it manually closes the arterioles. Everybody see that? Super important concept. So dudes, we want this thing to contract down, so we sometimes have to go in and scoop that piece out so we can get this thing to contract down so that you don't what? You don't hemorrhage. Now all these are compressed. See how these are wide open here? When you contract down, your body, once the baby comes out, you guys, you get a natural big bolus of oxytocin. So this bolus of oxytocin that your brain gives you causes this to contract downward, and it manually closes those arterioles so you don't hemorrhage. Okay, so that's why we want this placenta to come out within 20 minutes. If it doesn't come without 20 minutes, you guys, what are we concerned about? We're concerned about hemorrhaging, and a lot of times we have to get you to the OR to find out why aren't you contracting down. And sometimes, you guys, the placenta is so smart that if it can't get oxygen through the decidua, because remember it sits on the decidua, the placenta sits on the decidua, which sits on the uterine muscle, right, you guys? So you guys, if there's scar tissue instead of decidua, that placenta can go down, go through that scar tissue and attach to the uterine muscle. That's called an accreta, A-C-R-E-T-A. You guys, if it's attached to the muscle and it's not sitting on the decidua, is it going to come out? No. Dudes, this is like super important. We get you back there, we have a surgical intervention so you don't hemorrhage. Okay? This is why it sits on the decidua, you guys. Remember, that lining was going to come out when you had your period anyway. Now it just sloughs off. It's easy. But you guys, if there's scar tissue there, this thing goes down, it's in that muscle, it's not just going to come right off. You're going to have a retained placenta. 20 minutes is the time. Okay, now how much blood are you going to lose during this delivery? You're going to lose less than 500 for a vag and less than 1,000 for a C-section. Okay? Less than 500 for a vaginal delivery and less than 1,000 for a C-section. So then that would mean greater than 500 for a vag would be a clinical hemorrhage, and greater than 1,000 for a C-section would be a clinical hemorrhage. So you guys, that's what we're worried about here. This fourth stage of labor is 1 to 4 hours after birth. This is the period of hemodynamic stability. What are we trying to make sure that you don't what? Hemorrhage. You guys, every single person that walks in those doors into the hospital is at risk for a hemorrhage. Every single one, because we know every single person is going to bleed. So you guys, we're watching them very carefully. That third stage, very important that it comes out. And then the fourth stage, we're making sure they didn't lose too much. Okay. Will you hit it, Daria, and then I'll answer questions, Sophia?